Welcome, 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 welcome. We'll be going on live in a few seconds. We'll be going live in a few seconds. We gotta wait one more time. One more time. Welcome, 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 night owls. And if you put a one in the chat to let me know if you can hear me clearly, put a one in the chat to let me know, do you hear me clearly? If anyone is in the chat and they can hear me, let me know if you can hear me clearly. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, yes, this one of these randoms. We know that I'm a truck driver, so I don't get a chance to plan these lives. But when I get a chance, I try to be consistent on basically on my content. This content is about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, and I was on X, and a lot of people are sympathizing to Jesse Jackson. You know, there's a photo of Al Sharpton pushing Jesse in a wheelchair. There's a photo of Jesse Jackson being pushed in a wheelchair from Al Sharpton. And a lot of people are really, you know, they feel sorry for Jesse Jackson. And, it's hard for me to feel sorry for a person who criminally when I and literally changed the nation of people. And it's very hard to forget. People think when people get older that you're supposed to forget what they done when they were younger. And we don't think about the people that are incarcerated in jail, and we get a soft spot to older people, and we respect older people, but we get a very soft spot for older people and our elders. And we feel like it's out of place for us to talk about them when they are in their elder stage. Well, forget that. That's not what you're going to get over here. Because in the prison system, people who unalive people in the prison system, they grow old and they look like loving grandparents. They look like grandmothers and grandfathers. And they have unalive multiple people in their younger years, devastating and hurting families. But people want us to forget what they was and look at who they are now. And I just can't feel any sympathizing for Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson knew who he was and who he is. Jesse Jackson never got out of his tribe. Jesse Jackson knew he was a part of the Cherokee Nation, but led many of us into Pan-Africanism. But they want us to feel pain for him because he's aging. Al Sharpton admitted that he was a part of he was an agent, that he was a secret agent in our communities. And these were the people that we looked up to, that every time we were looking for justices, every time YT people were unaliving our people, they would call for Al Sharpton. They would call for Al Sharpton. And Al Sharpton would come around, and he was a paid agent, made thousands, thousands of dollars off of our people, representing our people. So as they get age, you can forgive, but you can't forget. You can forgive, but you can't forget. This is why we are lost tribes. They're responsible for us being lost tribes. We talked about Jesse Jackson and how he was running for president of the United States of America, a political movement, and how he got in and sold his soul to immigrants. And we talked about this thing. Shout out to brother Dre Cobbs. And we talked about these things. How he got a part of with immigrants, partnering with immigrants, because they made a lot of money. Africans, Europeans, and Caribbeans made a lot of money off of our people. Africans, Europeans, and Caribbean nations made a lot of money off of our people. The word African American was bigger than you know. The reclassifying of our people was bigger than you know. We are a part of a corporation, and it affected us and a lot of our people 30 years ago, just 30 years ago, 30 years ago, 30 to 40 years ago, where they changed a nation of people. And people, young people who were born in the 80s and was pushed in rebellions to their family, not listening to their grandmothers and their grandfathers, but listening to what they learned in the school systems, the indoctrinations in the school systems, forcing our young to watch days and days of Roots, forcing our young to participate in Black history programs, claiming that we come from another place, claiming that we are a foreigner in our own land. You don't go from over 20 million acres of land to 1% in America of owning acres of land. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Roland Martin, and many more has made a lot of money off of our people. They have made so much money off of our people. A lot of people thought that Jesse would be the next Martin Luther King. Many allegedly believe that he's responsible for Martin Luther King's passing. There were many who believed that theory, that he's responsible allegedly for the unaliving of Martin Luther King, that he participated in that. And we remember Jesse marching along with Dr. Martin Luther King, being out on the front line. And we begin to build trust in him, thinking that he would be like Dr. King. Our people were delusion to thinking that they would have another king. They were delusion to think that they would be led by someone who was influenced by King. And this man has been a detrimental to our community, to our people. I put him on the list of one of the fifth worst people of America, up there with Walter Plecker, up there with Marcus Garvey. All of these people who we thought were supposedly revolutionaries. We thought these people were here for leading our people to righteousness, but they were harming our people, reclassifying our people, rewriting our people to something that we never was. You don't go from being the American Indian and become the Negro. In the state of New York, they voted. They said, we're going to settle this Afro business. Afro people are going to settle this business once and for all. They paid $600 a ballot, $600 a ballot to reclassify our people. Who had that kind of money in the state of New York to afford $600 to vote on who we were? After kicking our people out of the nations, out of their tribes, they were forced into being called Negro. And about 350 something of them votes went to the Negro. And we look at these things, and when you look at this, I had this out on TikTok and I was showing them the numbers. 625 total votes, and you know the word color comes behind the word Negro. The word American. They even considered you to be American. They considered Afro-American. These are what's on the ballot. Asiatic was on the ballot. Ethiopian African was on the ballot. Moorish American was on the ballot with 1%. Who was these dangerous people behind reclassifying our people? And then you look years later and another reclassification happens. And Jesse Jackson meets with 200 people from 200 mayors, one from a European continent, and the other from the African continent, and the other from the Caribbean continent, to get permission for us to be called African American. So you telling me we had to get a blessing from these three nations to be called African American? How much did they pay? How much did they pay? What did they do to sell the souls? What did they do to sell the souls? Thank you, whoever that was. Oh, that got to be my brother, my favorite, one of my partners, my dog. Thank you so much for the donation. I got nothing but love for my brother Brightmore. Thank you so much. And the delusion of our people, the marching that we have done, the suffering that we have endured, getting bit by the dogs. I was just telling somebody on TikTok, if you mesmerize and you think about in the 1950s, and you talk about and you go back and you remember the 1950s, you remember the 1940s, the 30s, the 20s. You remember there was a time where you looked at the cameras and they had pictures and they had whites only, colors only, restrooms. Shout out to the telepath guy. Now you got to understand this. Now, photos don't lie. Photos don't lie. We talked about this. Where were the other people? Where were the immigrants back then? Why we don't see photos of immigrants that you see now. You don't see Puerto Ricans. You don't see the Dominicans. You don't see the Mexicans. In them only restrooms where whites only. You didn't, even the colors only. You didn't see other race of people. I want you to think, get your thinking on, and look at through the history because pictures don't lie. Where are the Native Americans? Where are these so-called Native Americans that were suffering when they had segregation, when we were not allowed to be in the same schools? What schools were these other immigrants a part of? What schools were they participating in? What schools? Mexicans was not in them schools. Dominicans were not in them schools. Haitians were not in them schools. African people were not in them schools. When you was looking at Rosa Park, and she was on the bus, and you saw pictures of other people on the bus. Did you see Chinese on the bus? Did you see Asian people on the back of the bus? Did you see Asian people on the front of the bus? Did you see Native Americans on the bus? Did you see Mexicans on the bus? The so-called African American was on the back of the bus, and YT was on the front of the bus. I only seen a nation through what they depict of black and white. A nation where I only seen black and white. Where are the other race of people? And this is legitimate questions. When we look through photos and we look through history, that's why we tell you that civil rights became the equal rights of immigrants. That they have never been a bill strictly for our people. There have never been a bill written just for our people. We think it is, but it's not. When they wrote these bills, them bills were never written for things just for us. When we get something, we get a holiday. You aren't you tired? You guys are excited because you got Juneteenth. You excited because you got Martin Luther King holiday. That is not significant financially for our people. That's nothing like reparations. There's nothing. Everybody gets reparations. Everybody gets reparations. Japan got reparations for the war. America threw money at Japan, at the Japanese, but for participating in wars. America sent money to Israel, and Israel is not a part of America. But what have they done, particularly for our people? And we always ask, instead of asking for more, we always ask for less. We are so programmed. Oh, we got another day to party. Party. Our minds are so slow. Slow. We are so slow. We want to party while they're out there. They are getting significant things for their children, their offspring. We're not getting anything for our offspring. We talked about the Democrats. The Democrats running out, convincing our people that they should leave rural country areas and moving into big cities. And when we agreed to go into the big cities, they put us in the projects. And the projects were not built for our people. The projects were built for YT people. And they convince us to leave our land and they go into the rural areas where we were coming from. Because if you really do the studies behind projects in America, it was not built for American blacks. It was built for military veterans that were YT people. People who came from the war. God was able to get public housing. And when they ran down the facilities, they passed it on to black people. And they did not sustain the maintenance on it. And as it ran down, that became our reservation, putting people on top of each other. That became our reservation because they had been trying to convince us to leave the rural parts of America. We talked about this multiple times, how did we lose 20 million acres of land in America and only own 1% of it in America today? You don't go from 20 million acres of land to 1% today. We talked about Tulsa, Oklahoma. We talked about Roswell, Florida. We talked about places that Oscarville, Georgia, that became Lake Lanier. We talked about all of the major cities that was exploded. We talked about Memphis, Tennessee, where our people have always been. We talked about Delaware, Wilmington. How many land, Louisiana, St. Bernard Parish in Louisiana, all of the massacres that have happened in this land. And they will tell you, these Native Americans will tell you about the Trail of Tears, but they're not telling you it was your Trail of Tears. It wasn't a Trail of Tears, it was our Trail of Tears. We're the people who were in the Devil's Punch Bowl. We were the people who were in Natchez, Mississippi in concentrational camps. You wasn't a slave. You was a prisoner of war. You was the prisoner of war. They tell you that you came from another. So you was the prisoners of war on your own land. You have always been here. And we talked about the phenotypes. We talked about our phenotypes. And there's no Africans that look like you. They look familiar to you. Everybody's cousins of the planet. We are cousins in the world of the planet. Cousins of the planet. Cousins of the planet. But we are not them people. We talked about this multiple times. That when William Penn came into America, where he thought he was. William Penn and Christopher Columbus, they thought they stumbled across North America. They stumbled across North America. They stumbled. And they saw these people. And these people, they called Indians. In the Oxford Dictionary, it says that an Indian is declared as dark skinned. Dark skinned. Indians are black, not light skinned. Thank you guys for listening to the nightly rant. But Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton are the problem of our people. And just because they're aging and they're getting older And a lot of us are feeling sorry, and we're feeling bad about because they look pitiful. Think about that. You gotta understand this stuff. You gotta understand this stuff. It's been alive for a long time. We know Christopher Columbus did not discover this land. There were people already here. There were people down in South America. We were already in this land. We were already in this land. And we got to stop allowing these rhetoric of these slave ships and that they have always had cartoon images. They out here telling our children that we are slaves in our own land. A lot of these things, Brightmore, was not in existence. A lot of these are fairy tales. To be honest with you, even the religion that a lot of these people speak upon comes from Africa. A lot of these things are fairy tales. And I'm so sick of our people falling for these people. They use the Bible to manipulate our people. They use the Bible to weaponize. And it comes a time when we got to realize that we are fighting a war. We are fighting a war of existence. Bill Gates right now is trying to depopulate the whole world. And he's starting with Africa. A lot of these Africans don't even realize that. And they're trying to target our women. That's why the biggest thing that you have to understand, they don't want us procreating. Because their women are not having babies. And that's their fear with Mexicans. Because Mexicans have babies like rabbits. That's the biggest fear with them with Mexicans. And that's why they're putting the Mexicans out of here. That's the biggest. They already convinced our women. They already worked on our women. They're trying to bring other European countries in here to replace the women that are not having babies. That's why they want Ukraine here. That's why they want the Afrikaners here. Because they women want to be doctors and lawyers, and they want to be business women, and they don't have time to have their children. Or they even sleeping with our men. And they're fighting for existence. And that's why they're trying to convince our women. They're trying to, our women, we were always traditionally, we always were trained traditionally. We were always people who procreate. And they have brainwashed our people into this European system to keep our women. That trick was not for their women. Abortions were not for their women. It was targeting our women. Because they wanted us to breed, to work on their plantations. Because they don't have a hold on our people. Now they want our race to go extinct. They want us to go to extinct. And I want you guys to understand that. I want to thank everybody for listening in to the nightly rant. Everybody, make sure y'all subscribe to my brother, my brother, the Telepack God, my sister Pony Locks, my brother Brightmore. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to these channels. To Dre Cobb, 813 Terror, 813. Y'all make sure that y'all support each other. Make sure we support each other. And y'all follow me on TikTok. Make sure y'all follow me on TikTok. If you guys didn't see one of my videos, uh, y'all go check out the GoFundMe that we're doing. My dog was attacked by a pit bull, and we're going through some severe expenses with my dog. He was attacked by a pit bull. We also were so if you guys would like to donate, go check out the GoFundMe that we're doing for my dog. I've been dealing with multiple bills that I've been dealing medical bills because of my son cancer. Now that he's cancer free, we still have to pay a lot of money for cancer for this cancer. For all of the bills for the surgeries that he had, and so we're dealing with a lot of medical dealing. So if you guys would like to do anything, y'all go check out the GoFundMe. If you check the video that I have about the dog and everything, because I'm just tied up in a lot financially. I want to thank my brother Brightmore for the donation. He's always, no matter what, I don't care. He's always looking out for a brother. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Y'all follow me. Y'all can also get the link on my. Y'all can also support me on my TikTok channel if you guys would like to help out the channel. You know what I'm saying? Remember, my Cash App is Peanut Nola 504. But like I said, if you guys would like to donate, because we need to pay these bills. The dog is crushed my dog leg. He has a his leg is they had to sew his leg back on. I mean, it's gonna they're probably gonna we're fearing that they might have to amputate his leg. So I can't stand pit bulls. I know a lot of you guys love pit bulls, but I don't like. It's not that I can't stand pit bulls. I don't like the owners. Everybody don't deserve to have a pit bull. Everybody don't deserve to have one. You know, because that lady let that pit bull go into my yard. My dog was in his yard on a chain. He's a little rat terrier, and that dog crushed his bones. So we're dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the community. Y'all, you guys have always had my back. Love you guys. Make sure y'all come back out. Be checking me out. I will be coming back with another video probably tomorrow. We'll be going live. I want to get the panel back because I want Brightmore, Pony Locks, and everybody on the panel. So I got to get my son to help me get the link so I can start dropping a link, okay? Because I'm doing this on my phone, and I want to start doing open panels if you guys would like to come back on the panel with me. And we're going to do some more content on the panel. So I want to like to thank you guys for everything that you guys have done for me, all the support that you guys have done. Love you guys. See you again next time on Chief Peanut Nola 504, the Aborigine Chief.